Today we'll start with the new topic truss. Basically, truss is nothing but a bar element having two nodes and each node has 2 degrees of freedom. In the previous classes we have seen a bar element and each node has 1 degree of freedom, means it is meant to act in only one direction, whereas in truss each node has 2 degrees of freedom, in the sense each node which can move in either x direction or y direction. Means a truss is a two force member made up of bars. Usually it is a bar which sustains two forces. Either it may be compression or tensile, and that are connected at the ends of by joints. I hope you have seen the trusses. These you can see in the auditoriums, support what we call roof of auditoriums, cinema halls, stadiums, railway stations, where these type of long span, where you can see this type of triangles on which we have the what we call roofs. We have the roofs. These are connected by with the help of welding joint here, here, or these may be the pin joints. The uses of trusses is to covering the large span area and to provide the shelters. These are meant to these are like supporting members, and it can be seen in the roofs of auditoriums, cinema halls, sports stadiums, railway station, airports. Like these are used in place of beams. Whenever there is a long span, we can't use beam, because beam it become heavy and it is uneconomical, means it requires more cost to install the beam. Instead of this we use trusses. It gives the same it support the same loading as the beam do. So if you see this figure here, you can see there are 9 elements: element 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. These are the 9 elements, and each element is connected between node, two nodes, and each node has 2 degrees of freedom. For example, if you consider this node, here we have two displacement which you can call u1 u2 or q1 q2. In some book it has given q1 q2, in some book it has given u1 u2. You refer anyone. Like the thing is, trusses are used to, like these are nothing but used to carry supporting loads. These are used to carry a supporting loads. So this is what the overall concept about truss. Now we'll see in the finite element analysis. If you want to analyze the truss, we have certain set of assumption. So whenever we are solving some beam problem, also we have some assumption made for solving the beam problem. So in the FEM subject, to satisfy the conditions we should have some assumptions. So there are always assumptions associated with every finite element analysis. If all the assumptions below are valid for a given situation, then the truss element will yield an exact solution. So here what we need to see, there are some set of assumptions which we need to do before we need to proceed with the problem. So these are nothing but assumption here. First assumption is truss element is only a prismatic bar, means the cross-sectional area is uniform along its length. There is no variation in the cross-section. Next, second assumption is it should be isotropic material, means isotropic in the sense it has the same uniform material characteristics all over the length. Next we have constant load, that is load is independent of time. Here the bar is subjected to a constant load, not a varying load. It is subjected to constant load, means there is no change in the load according to time. Next, it has homogeneous material, means the property of material is same all over the length. Next, a load on the truss only be applied at the joints, means if this is a truss member, this is the truss member, it is fixed. If suppose if it is fixed over here, the load can be applied at the nodes itself, means load can apply only at the nodes itself, here, and we can't apply loads in between the bars. So that's what the assumption which we have seen here. A load on the truss only applied at the joints. Next, due to the load applied, each bar of a truss is either induced with tensile or compressive, means these truss members are meant to carry only the tensile force, not the what we call these members are meant to carry only the tensile force and compressive force, not the torsional forces. Similarly, the last assumption, self weight of the bar are neglected. Usually when we solve the problem in finite element method, we usually neglect the weight of the each bar. So these are the assumptions